Golly gee.
It's been a while.
I feel rusty. I feel out of practice. How do we normally start these?
We talk. You know, it has been a while, Kel. What did we talk about?
Well, we have a lot of things that we should have talked about, but didn't.
Jeez, oh, do we? There was 500,000 Marvel things. Some games, Kyle.
Some games. To be fair, we're both to blame for not recording a podcast about any of these things. Like, I didn't watch Shang-Chi in theatres. We were going to record a What If episode, but then you just got too busy. It's been a whole... There's no one person to blame. I think it's...
You haven't seen Eternals?
I haven't seen Eternals. I'm currently catching up on Lower Decks.
Have you seen Hawkeye?
I have seen Hawkeye.
Oh,
at
great!
Least the first 2 episodes.
Great, we have something to talk about then.
Let's start with the games, because I feel like we have less game stuff.
Okay.
What have you been playing recently?
I've been playing Halo Infinite.
Same.
I've been playing Destiny 2.
Not same.
I've been playing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, the definitive edition.
I've heard it's a bit janky.
I have not encountered any glitches.
I've also just seen it and it looks really weird.
The
art style they've gone for.
Yeah, it's like... Whoa, we've upgraded the art style the game always had for all 3 of the games, and I always assumed when I was younger that the game was trying to go for photorealism that it could achieve for the day. Like, if true remaster would just look like GTA 5. But no, apparently that game had an art style. I didn't notice that.
I mean, there was other games at the time that were less stylized than GTA, I think it's fair to say. But I would agree that I would have expected a remaster to go full, like, emulating realism, but I understand that would have cost way more money.
Oh, so. Yeah. Oh, apparently this is like the original remaster from the 360 that was a mobile port.
I think they literally just applied like one of those automated upscale things to the games, and they were like, that's it, we're good.
It does look like they've just added some PC mod texture packs.
Yeah.
And it's free for us on Game Pass, so I'm not financially worried about it.
I haven't played it. I've been busy. Believe it or not, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands recently.
You've been playing Borderlands? My god.
I know. A shock to hear, I'm sure.
I am, ladies and gentlemen. I saw Kyle playing Borderlands and I considered joining him.
You would have ruined my recording, Nathan. Gosh. No, you wouldn't, but...
You would have wanted some co-op fun. You would have wanted a co-op segment.
I guess to clarify to anyone who doesn't know, I'm doing a series on Borderlands. I don't know. I don't know where I would have fit that in.
I'd have thought of something for you. But long story short, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't install the game, so don't be expecting me.
Shame. Well, you can join me for the pre-sequel video.
Can we briefly talk about the Xbox Cloud Gaming beta?
Sure. I know it exists. I haven't done anything with it yet.
So I like most of us, I got the pop-up and it was like, Game Pass Ultimate subscribers, Cloud Gaming is here on beta, try it out. And I was like, there's no games that I think I don't already have installed that I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and you and a friend were discussing game achievement stats. And somehow we got talking about For Honor. And For Honor is on the Cloud Gaming beta. And it's kind of been hovering around in my mind of, do I want to try it? Like, I've played For Honor before. Do I want to dip my toes back into it? Whilst it's just, I don't need to do any install time. I can just jump in. Just to try it. And I'm not sure yet, because I don't know if it's going to be worth my time, because you know how you can like stream your Xbox to your PC to play it at a desk or something?
Yes, and it's not very good.
It's not very good. And I'm hoping the cloud gaming is better, but I'm a bit scared.
It's going to be highly reliant on having really good internet, I'd guess. I haven't tried it either. I did see that Halo 5 is one of the games, and I don't have Halo 5 installed, so I was like, I guess I could try Halo 5.
Oh, I do have Halo 5 installed. That would be a game to try, though. Because it's not next-genified, so it just sits in my external storage.
Yeah, and there was a game that I just saw that got added to Game Pass, which is like a planet-based city builder or something like that. Any game that I wanted to try that was part of the cloud gaming, and I was like, it's only like 14 gigs, I'll just install it, it's fine.
Yeah. Cloud gaming seems like something people think they want, and then they get it, and they're like, I would rather just install it.
Yeah. Although I wonder if it goes well if they'll just be like, actually, all of Game Pass is just on the cloud. You can't install them anymore.
If it worked, that would be great.
Would it?
Just to like pick up a game on the fly, going through your library, like open up a film on Netflix.
How unprofessional.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I think it might be my optician. Hold on.
You know what he said
No.
before we started recording that there wouldn't be any incidents. What were we? Cloud gaming.
Game Pass, cloud gaming, going everywhere. I muted that immediately.
Is Infinite on cloud gaming? I don't know if it is.
I don't know. It would be cool if it was. It's already a free-to-play title. Maybe the multiplayer won't be, but the campaign will. Because I don't think you'd want a cloud game PvP.
Yeah,
you know?
I can see that being just an extra step.
Yeah, it would destroy you mentally trying to get those frames up and everything like that. The PvE though, I could fully see being cloud gaming defied, but that's not out yet at time of recording. It will be probably by the time we release this, or maybe by a day or two late or early.
Hey, I'm going to prioritize this edit so that I can get it out before my next video. So we're good.
Wonderful.
Oh boy, let's talk Infinite. I have thoughts.
Yeah, let's talk Infinite. We're teasing it.
So, as you said, it's just the multiplayer that's out now. Although it feels more like half of the multiplayer is out right now. I don't know how you feel about it. I feel like half the game is missing.
Yeah. So 343 have deliberately only given us like half a prize.
Yes. They're really drip feeding out this game.
Yeah, they're saying like it's because they want the player base to be as concentrated as possible and just kind of give classic Halo vibes. And they want to give us some new stuff with some old stuff. But they don't want to give away their entire arsenal. Because there's so many guns in this game that we've probably never even seen. Because if the guns that they've got in the game at the moment is the only guns we're getting, my god, that's disappointing.
I believe I did read that they're going to be adding more guns later. But yes,
because this is a very limited pool.
Yeah. It feels about the same as Halo 1 in terms of gun variation.
Yeah. What game does this Halo remind you of the most? I'm going to go between Reach and 3.
I'm going to go between Reach and 4. Similar era, but...
Interesting.
Specifically because of like the always sprinting type thing. That's more of a Halo 4 invention.
Yeah, the sprinting has been really toned down though. Apparently the sprint is like a slight boost, but it's not much.
Really? It feels pretty fast to me.
Yeah, I've heard some people saying that like the sprint is it's a little bit more than just a cosmetic look, but it's basically like in practice you're not getting that much quicker in reality. Maybe that was for the flight, maybe in the full game they've toned it up a bit.
It feels pretty faster to me, I don't know. Maybe that's just because they add the effects to your screen and all that, but...
Yeah, it's not as fast as the Halo 5 one, because the criticism Halo 5's multiplayer got was that like the maps were so big to accommodate this mechanic of sprinting, so you would find yourself running around not doing anything. Yes,
that's a criticism I've made in my videos about Garden Warfare, but that's besides the point.
Plug. I enjoy Halo Infinite's moment-to-moment gameplay quite a lot, Kyle.
I think it's fun. It's Halo. It's almost, if someone told me to make a Halo game, it's basically exactly the game I would make. Which,
after all these years, it's still Halo.
Which I don't know if I mean that fully as a compliment. Like, it's so Halo. Like, they took no risks.
I don't know. I mean, well, did they take no risks? I guess. I don't know what else you could add into a Halo game, though, that would make it not Halo, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
You got to try not to break that formula. What was it, like melee, gun, and grenade? That was the triad of shooting. I guess that was Bungie's thing primarily. But I think like armor abilities were a bit overplayed, critics would have said. But they wanted power-ups. But these are like armor abilities and power-ups combined. They're like
and
power-ups
to me,
you can just pick up on the map.
Almost all of them are useless except for the grappling hook.
I enjoy the repulsor. The shield wall's a bit... I get its utility. I'm a Titan in Destiny.
I've yet to use the repulsor in the way it's intended.
Right, I've used it to doink some people. That's quite fun. Somebody's getting close up and personal to like punch you when you're on like no shields, and you doink and they go flying back. And if it rattles them enough, it doesn't always. Sometimes if it's primarily if it's a PC player, because I can't turn off crossplay on the beta.
It's force push,
grumble. Yeah, you're just getting them away from you. And if you shake them up, and usually it will shake up a console player, you can just shoot them because you're ready for it, so you know what to do next. But if somebody's caught off guard, they'll be like, ah, and you just gun them down. But again, it never upsets a PC player because PC players are OP.
I don't have this problem. I don't even notice who's playing PC and console. This is a you problem.
Oh, I can tell. You could super tell. Like, to me, like, just sometimes like the reaction times, the accuracy of a no-scope. It's all a bit quick.
Tell you what's really useless is those, like, sensor things you can throw.
The like, the new Promethean vision?
Yeah.
Why? I don't think it's useless, to be honest with you.
It's a very limited usefulness.
I'm trying to think of a game type it would be useful for.
Well, it's useful if you don't have a radar, I guess. But
and the radar in this game is poop.
Really, I found it pretty useful. But
I think the radar in this game does absolutely nothing. People could be 2 meters behind you and you don't see them until you're getting punched in the back. I think the radar's radius has been really toned down because, like, for competitive reasons, I don't like it. But I think maybe like tone it down in competitive, but
it's not
even in social, increase the radar a bit.
Ranked matches, you don't have a radar, so
do you not? Well, there you go. I think they should increase the radar. Personally, I don't think the radar actually achieves much. Unfortunately, I think this is the game where the radar's is practically useless. Apparently, I was speaking to a friend, and he told me that in the files, or a developer said, I can't remember, I haven't seen the source myself, that they're basically trying to come up with like a Destiny-style Trials of Osiris game mode, like elimination.
Oh yeah, because there's an achievement for reviving teammates in a certain game mode. And the picture of it is like your little AI in a bubble that looks exactly like the ghost when you need to be revived in Destiny.
Should we talk about that? The similarities between Halo Infinite and Destiny?
I mean, it's clearly what they're going for. They're not hiding it particularly well. If that, like, they want this to be their Destiny. Yeah,
they want it to be an ongoing game that'll have DLCs and they're going to vault all the content. Get all the Halo Infinite vanilla content now, guys, because they're going to vault it in 2 years.
But they've said you can hold on to the season passes forever.
Maybe the cosmetics don't vault, but I think they might start vaulting some content, like, because the PvE thing is primarily the thing that's going to evolve. I think honestly, it's like the PvP aspect of this game almost feels like a different install.
It does.
It's like the Halo 3 ODST multiplayer disc.
It does. Oh gosh, let's talk about the free to play thing because I'm not a fan. I don't like it. I think it was a bad call. And
go on.
I think it's really showing through some of that classic game industry greed, you know?
I think there are pros and cons, Kyle.
I think it's mostly cons, to be honest with you.
Like, the pro is you've got a higher concurrent player base because it's free, and a lot of people in this world just can't afford, frankly, a 70 smackaroonies on, like, a multiplayer. Like, maybe they can buy it in like 6 months, but people want to play it now.
I don't think a low player base was ever going to be a problem for the new Halo game.
There's been long speculated about the health of Halo over the past 343 era of the game. We're coming up on 10 years of 343. It is 10 years if you count the fact that they made Halo 1 anniversary. But I'll probably say the proper start was Halo 4. So we're 9 years into the 343 experiment, and people have been like, Halo's glory days are well behind it. You've even addressed it, I'm sure. I wouldn't be surprised, frankly, if people were worried about the concurrent player base of a Halo game. And microtransactions, whether you like it or not, that's the way the industry has finally moved to. It's here, and it's definitely not going away. And
at least,
I think that
at the very least, it's not loot boxes, but honestly, it's not much better.
I think that their pricing strategy is way out of whack. What was it, like $10 for shoulders?
They have like these weekly packs that cost $10, which is the same as the entire season pass. Their economy makes no sense whatsoever.
Like, I actually do not mind the battle pass, season pass, whatever you want to call it. I honestly don't, and I think that's because I just play enough games now where that's just the thing. And you could grumble, shake your fist. That never used to be how they done it in my day. But it's just this is a thing that the industry has done. It has been an achieved model that most people pay for, myself included, for the right game. I don't know. And again, Fortnite does an item store quite well as well, though they give a flurry of free items in Fortnite now. The game's only pay for cosmetics if you want. Halo Infinite though has really done it in a bizarre way. There was like that aged poorly clip when they were talking about the armor system in Halo Infinite.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where they're like, you know what, you'll have hundreds of different combinations that are all earnable in-game, you won't have to pay, and like, as they're narrating it, they're showing you customized Spartan looks. Mm-hmm. And some of those customized Spartan looks that are all apparently, by inference of the narration going over them, all of those individual pieces would be available for free. They're not. They're either available in the Battle Pass or they're only available in the item store. Mm-hmm. None of them are free. Maybe some of them will be free because we're still in the beta, they're not out yet. But at the moment, it's not a great look. And there's something they've done that's particularly confusing. Uh-huh. You can, because the first season is the Heroes of Reach season, yes, where you can get all your Halo Reach Noble Team armor pieces. But certain pieces are only obtainable if you wear the entire cosplay of the character. Like Carter's commando shoulder or Emil's security shoulder with the knife. You can wear those shoulder pieces if you wear the entire Emil set as one full cosplay outfit.
Well, we know now, because they leaked it, that they are going to sell those pieces separately.
Even though they're in the fucking Battle Pass, you need to pay for them separately if you want to wear them individually. That's ridiculous.
I mean, even so, as we're recording this, they just started the Samurai Armor event, which is actually...
the Fracture event that runs over 3 weekends?
Yes, which is basically another season pass, but it's free. And first off, the progression on the Battle Pass, season pass, whatever, is ridiculous, because you can only do it by completing weekly challenges.
Yes, and you don't get it through,
just playing
the objective or getting 50 kills and no deaths. So that was immediately stupid, matter.
And they put like a half measure in there at the moment where you get like a 50 XP challenge every single game, which is not a lot.
It's not a lot. I think you should actually get more XP if you win a match as well.
Yeah, you should get more XP for your... in general. Your what's the word I'm looking for?
Performance, your objective playing. If you're playing oddball, maybe get points for picking up the fucking oddball, because right now no one's doing it.
Like how a game works.
Yeah. Right now it's just exist in the match from beginning to end, and regardless of your progress, you're all getting the same outcome.
Right, it's silly.
Maybe reward players for actually capturing a flag over someone who didn't.
But anyway, for this weekly event that they're doing, you can only progress on that through specific weekly challenges that have a mark. And by the way, you can progress on all of the challenges at once. There's a big pool of challenges, but you only have access to a certain number of them at a time, which is just fucking stupid.
You get access to one extra challenge slot if you buy the Battle Pass.
I mean, I know exactly why they do all these things. Like, my game designer brain understands that, like, if you give them the challenges all at once, then that'll decrease their playtime because they can progress on all the challenges at once, blah, blah, blah. And it's the same for this item store. Like, you could, and I remember they had to do this for Battlefront 2, you could just have all of the items in the store available, and you can just buy the pieces you want. But no, they have to be on weekly timers, so that you have this artificial inflation, or not, artificial scarcity. You have to grab them now, or when will they come back again if I want this ugly armor piece?
Yes.
Like, I can see all these things, and it just, it irritates me.
I think it wouldn't be so bad if the weekly... if I don't mind challenges going away at the end of every week. You got a weekly challenge, you get daily challenges. That's how Halo always done it. Halo Reach, glory day of it. You got one weekly challenge, you get 4 daily challenges, and you got credits for that you could spend in the in-game armor haul, if you like the Halo Infinite
That's
phrase.
fine, because there was no money actually involved in that, for one. That was just how you got stuff in the game. And...
yes.
Sure, weekly and daily challenges are fine, but you still need to have a baseline of, you can still do stuff without the challenges.
Yes,
'Cause, like,
you should.
as
You should
of
like,
right,
I remember Halo Reach had a slot machine as well inside their
yes,
XP system where you could randomly get 6,000 credits for no reason at
Yeah.
all.
and it's like that's not gambling because it's like there's no money involved in that. That's just the thing that happens.
It's completely fictional. You could get 20 in the slot machine. You could get 8,000 in the slot machine, and it was completely random as an XP bonus on top of your progression XP and your gameplay XP.
The weekly challenges are supposed to increase your playtime over the week, but as of right now, I have completed all of my weekly challenges in Infinite, and I have no reason to play the game right now because of that. Like, I'm done. I don't need to play anymore.
I'm sure the week refreshed, Kyle. There's a lot in there now.
Did it? No, it doesn't
refreshed.
refresh until... I don't know when it refreshes, but whatever. Like, I finished all the weekly challenges, and I'm done. I don't need to play it anymore.
Have you done the Fracture challenges?
Yes, they're part of the weekly challenges. They're not in, like, a separate list.
No, I know, and I was going to say that I find it incredibly annoying that I can't do my Fracture challenges because if the actual active challenge slots are taken up by the regular weekly challenges, I need to complete them before I can move on to the Fracture challenges, even though I don't have a lot of space in which to complete. I don't have a lot of time to complete the Fracture challenges. I need to railroad through the rest of the default weeklies so that I can then actually begin the process of completing the Fracture ones.
The Fracture actual event is so silly too because
it's just Fiesta.
It's just Fiesta, which I don't mind. Fiesta's a bit of fun. I've never minded that game mode, but they don't give you enough challenges to complete the thing in 1 week. You have to compete in this challenge for the multiple weeks that they're running it to get all of the stuff on it.
Yeah, it's like you can. I think this week. I think it stops on Monday as we're recording now. Mm-hmm. And you can only, if you complete all the Fiesta Fracture challenges of this weekend, you can only get to rank 7.
You can only unlock the basic armor core, and that's it.
Yeah. And like the final rewards in this mini battle pass is like 30 tiers, and it's like a sword on your chest.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that?
It's... And along with this... They've released a bunch of like premium stuff for this new armor core, off to the sides. Because all the stuff on the actual event is just like the basic crap. But you can buy the fancier crap if you want it.
Did they add fancier crap? I don't really look at the Halo item shop, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so they added like I don't know, it's more like a sumo wrestler type looking helmet to it.
Oh my.
And a bunch of extra armor for that armor core, and the only place you can get actual different colors for that armor is the item shop, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's I haven't really looked much at the Halo item store outside the first couple of days. I hate armor cores. It's just ridiculous. I could. Why are they a thing? Why do I like in the battle pass? This is going slightly away from the item shop. In the battle pass, the first thing you get is the Mark V armor core, which is at that point, in this point of the game, it's your second ever armor core. And then the next thing you unlock, it's a free item, and it's a visor. But you can't put that visor on the core that you just bought to get. You need to put it on the default free-to-play core.
Yeah.
I would like to put the thing that I just bought, I would like to wear it and then customize it, but I can't because the next thing I got was for the free thing.
See, I understand the armor core is for the actual like bits of armor. Obviously they've done it this way because you want it to look exactly like the Halo Reach armor, basically.
We just add all the Halo Reach bits of armor on and then just let me go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and put it all on.
I would prefer it, but I can see why they've done it. Why they can't have the visors and the coatings crossover between armor cores is ridiculous. Like, that's just a colour scheme. You can put that on anything. Oh, it's so cheeky.
Let us have our free primary, secondary, if you're feeling spicy, little bit of tertiary colouring for free, like the Halo used to do.
Yes.
And then,
oh my God,
if we want to buy custom coatings, let us do that. Like a coating that, like, maybe makes your armor look like it's made of a different fabric or something. Fabric, texture, whatever. Mm-hmm. Like you can get a camo. You can customize the color of the camo, but you get to you pay for the camo look.
Sure.
Or or like feathers have a feathery look on your armor. You can customize what the colors are for free, but you need to pay for that pattern. That'd be
I
fine.
remember us talking about this because they announced the coatings thing ages ago, and it was a big controversy. And you were specifically like, "No, they won't do it like that. You'll actually have control of your colors. That would be crazy if they didn't let you pick your colors."
Yeah.
Don't you feel silly now?
Gosh darn, don't I feel silly? You know, I was too bright-eyed and sparkly because, I mean, I didn't expect them to just lie.
You don't know the game industry very well, Nathan.
I thought, here's the thing. I think of it from like they were going to get so much shit, why would they just blatantly... I thought maybe they would speak in half-truths, or it's not so much important what they say, it's important about what they don't say. But they outright said that the amount of free stuff we'd be getting with pictographic visuals of some of them as an example, and then they're behind the battle pass or in the item store, and that's just a straight up black and white lie there. I didn't expect such a barefaced just
Yeah, like I can
that's what's throwing me.
I can confirm I haven't bought the battle pass yet, and here's what I've unlocked so far. I got a free coating from the professional league store part of the store.
Oh, the HC, the Halo Championship League.
Yeah, the clown
red
skin.
and blue one.
Yep. Yeah. I've unlocked 2 visor colors for the basic default armor. I've unlocked the bare bones version of the samurai armor, which, let's face it, the bare bones one doesn't look that cool anyway.
I haven't done that actually yet.
I'm not going to wear it because everyone's wearing it now, so it's not unique anymore. And I unlocked a second...
Wait till Season 5 when it becomes niche, because I don't think the events are going to roll back around again. I just think the Battle Passes will always be purchasable.
Yeah. I mean, in a year they'll just release the Samurai Core for free. Not for free, but they'll release it in the store for money. You can just buy it.
Oh, God. Ladies and gentlemen, clip this, because I don't think they're going to do it. Wait till they do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still wearing basically the default armor. I haven't even unlocked a second helmet yet for free. There's nothing.
That is amazing.
The next thing I unlock is the first actual piece of armor I'll unlock for free on the battle pass is a little chest piece thing, and that's it. That's the first piece of art. Well, I unlocked the core for the samurai one, but I'm not wearing it because I don't want to.
Yeah, see, if it was individual armor pieces, would you maybe wear a couple of them?
If I could change the color of it, I might wear it. But
yeah, to make it yellow or something.
Yeah, but I can only wear the default black or the clown armor, and I don't want to wear either of those.
I can't believe you can't change the fucking shader of the samurai armor.
It's they don't even give you the default colors. You get the default colors on Mark 5B or on the default, but you don't get the default colors on the samurai armor.
It's crazy.
It's ridiculous.
Also, the UI as a whole ain't great. We should note we haven't mentioned that yet. We spoke about it privately.
Awful.
It's horrific. I don't understand horizontal UIs in games. Vertical's much more appealing.
The horizontal it's just everything is so... I don't even know how to describe it. It's
janky.
Everything feels like it's in the wrong place, and there's just these weird quirks that you have to learn. To back out of a game, you can't hit B. You have to go back to actually the game thing and cancel it there.
Yeah, you can't press B to cancel. You need to go, yeah. I found a shortcut to the armor hole, though. Press your start button like you're playing Halo Reach and go down to customize there.
Yes, there's a second menu you can access within the menu to get to different parts of the menu.
Yeah, it's... there was always a start button in all the other Halo games, but certain elements were only accessible via pressing start, whereas... in this game, you can reach them without ever pressing start, so it's just a really big bloated menu where just pressing start is like a shortcut. Just have start be the start button be the button that takes you to certain elements, and trim down the base menu by not having certain things accessible there, because it's just so bloated and confusing.
Yeah, but also on the menu, you can't access the season pass on the main menu.
Oh, you need to press Y,
but only on certain screens. You can't always access it.
It's not an omnipresent button, yeah.
It's so bad. And I thought they would have... The weirdest thing is, they've pre-tested all of this stuff over the years in MCC, which we should talk about a bit, because when MCC launched, it was kind of a disaster. And over the years, they've been adding stuff to it, they've been fixing it, and it's in a pretty good place now. And it feels
Yeah.
like they've just forgotten everything they learned over that, 7-year experience.
Everything they said, everything they did, it's just... I mean, it must be a completely different team, surely. There must be, a legacy team working on MCC, and then, the Infinite team, and, Suits even in charge of it, must just be a different team altogether, surely.
I guess so.
Because it can't be the same people having just cognitive dissonance and just being like, oh, this is a great idea and this is the best way to do it, and then they go into Halo Infinite and they're like, oh, let's do this because this will allow people to do X, Y, or Z. And I'm like, no, you had it fine with MCC. You done such a good... It took you the better part of a decade, but MCC is great. There's so much free stuff. There's so much unlockable by gameplay stuff. They're adding actively new stuff. There's new maps for Halo 3.
Yeah.
Now, you might be some purists out there that don't think they should be adding content to the old games, but as long as every single piece of old content is available and they're just adding other stuff that doesn't ruin it, because I don't think they have ruined it, it's fine. Halo MCC's great. They're still adding new stuff to MCC even though Halo Infinite's about to come out.
When I said that it feels like a quarter of a game, I even feel like there's not... I feel like multiplayer games used to launch with more maps. Am I going crazy? There's 3 big team battle maps, and then there's 3 normal maps, and that's it. It gets old really quickly.
Again, I'm hoping that this is a very, very slight taste. If this was the full package, my god, I'd be enraged. It's in beta, full game comes out, nothing's changed. See, day one, I want to see the floodgates open and be just smacked in the side of the face with content. And maybe there's certain actual armor pieces and coatings and visors that are unlockable via gameplay that me and you, Kyle, have both achieved the criteria to get, but because it's still in beta, they haven't actually released them to us yet. And then day one, they'll be like, hey, here's all the things that you achieved while the game was in beta. Instead of us making you try and achieve it again in the full release, we're just going to smack you in the face with all this free customization right now.
Because
you achieved the criteria in the beta.
Halo 3, where armor unlocks were tied to achievements. They've got all these weird achievements, like splatter someone with a chopper, or bounce someone's grenade back, or whatever. They could award armor stuff for that,
I am really because I think we're about to move on, but I want to briefly just mention my hopes for the PvE. I've watched the first 4 missions of the game. It's been released already, and there's all the first 4 missions 343 have released criteria. You can show the in-game in-engine cutscenes that they have, but any fancy cinematic cutscenes Let's Players have had to cut out. And they're only allowed to show 15 minutes per mission, so they need to kind of cut chunks out of the missions as well, just to meet the 15-minute criteria.
Okay.
And based on what I've seen, however, there's a lot of in-game plot dialogue exposition that comes from NPCs walking around and stuff, and you can kind of infer what the prologue was that they've had to cut out. And apparently it leaked in German, by the way.
Okay.
It's you can infer what happened. And I think this Halo game is going to be great. I think, based on the gameplay I've seen actively, I think it looks really fun. I'm really looking forward to playing it. It looks like you're going region to region on the Halo ring, clearing out of enemies, claiming it as your own stronghold.
It looks like Halo Far Cry from what I've seen. I haven't seen the first missions they've released, but that's the clear impression I get from it.
Apparently the first 2 missions are fairly standard Halo, very linear, in hallways on spaceships. And then when you actually get on the Halo ring is when it opens up. But, now this is not... I'm not going to spoil anything. Based on, I think the game looks great and has a lot of potential. A plot point that has sort of been ruined just by watching these 4 missions, because some of the dialogue just kind of infers things. Doesn't outright say anything, I don't think, but it heavily infers things. I think the game has done a thing in the plot because they didn't want to pay a writer.
Okay.
And
You're talking like a Tom Paris situation.
That's exactly like a Tom Paris situation. And I'm hoping it's not true, because I'm going to be really conflicted if that's what they've done. Because I like the character.
Okay.
And I would like to see more of the character. And if that character has been removed because they didn't want to pay a writer, I will be really disappointed.
Okay. Say no more. I'll infer what you're talking about. But we won't spoil it.
It could be literally about anyone in the 343 era or beyond.
We've talked about Halo for longer than I expected. Let's meet back in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about the campaign when it comes out.
Can't wait. I'm doing it, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing it day 1 legendary. That's been my tradition for Halo games since Halo 4. Day one, Legendary difficulty, run it through, because if there's any hard bits, at least I know it can't get any harder unless I turn on skulls.
Let's talk about Marvel stuff, shall we? Where do you want to begin? I guess Shang-Chi came out before What If, didn't it? Did it? I honestly can't remember.
Shang-Chi came out before What If, yes.
I don't know if I have too much to say about it. I just want to say I quite liked it. I thought it was good. It came out on Disney Plus fairly recently. I finally watched it. I liked it.
Shang-Chi was a good time. I enjoyed it. I went and saw it with a group of people. You know them. And some of them were like, so that's the best MCU movie ever made, just as the credits were rolling. And I was like, I kind of wiggled my index finger, and was like, I don't think so. This, you know, this and this and this and this and this is a wee bit, but I enjoyed it. I'm always the cynic that goes, this could have been better, blah 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 blah. But like, when you stand back and stop being a begrudging old schmonks about it, it's like, it's fine. I enjoyed it, definitely. It gets 2 thumbs up from me. I thought all the characters were great. I'm looking forward to seeing more of these characters.
I think in terms of origin movies, it's one of the higher ones. I don't think I would say it's one of the best films of the MCU.
I don't even think it's one of the best origin stories. I think the original Avenger origin stories, like Iron Man and Captain America, I think they're all much better. I think Doctor Strange as a film has went right up on my I never kind of thought much of the first Doctor Strange movie, but then after watching Endgame and Halo Infinite, Infinity War, Doctor Strange went way up on my estimations of like how good his first film was, because you just appreciate the character more. Shang-Chi, it was fine. Like, I liked it. I definitely liked it. I'll say this, I definitely liked it, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of the characters. Though, for reasons outside of the film itself, I wonder how Marvel are going to go with Shang-Chi going forward.
Has there been some controversy?
Yeah. You not heard about this?
No, I was avoiding all Shang-Chi news.
China refused to show Shang-Chi?
Oh, I did know that, because the main actor said some bad things about
He is Canadian,
yes.
But his parents are Chinese, and he's openly spoke about living in their parents' misery, living in China. And China's like, oh, we're not showing him. And he's supposed to be one of the next Avengers going forward, and you think China are going to block an Avengers 5?
I mean, I think they would. I don't think Disney would like that.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. I think they would. Do you think Disney are going to let that happen, though? Like, you get around it by not having him in the movie, or is Disney going to is Marvel going to stand by their talent? Which I mean, to their credit, they really stood by Eternals.
They would lose money. It would also be real bad on their reputation if they were just like, no, you said bad things about China, so we're letting you go. We're just abandoning Shang-Chi now.
Didn't John Cena have to apologise about Taiwan versus Taipei for Suicide Squad?
Was it I thought it was for the Fast and Furious film.
It might have been for Fast and Furious. Yes, I apologise.
He did, yes. He made a very, very convincing, tearful apology.
Yes. I wonder what they're going to have Simu Liu do, who I think is wonderfully charismatic and charming and funny, and I really like him. Mm-hmm. I personally would love to see more of him. I'm just fearful for how Marvel are going to go about. Feige seems like a class act as a person, and he's a very astute, but he's also an astute businessman.
Yeah.
And like I say, they stood by their talent for Eternals. Eternals didn't get shown in lots of places for gay stuff.
That's true. I haven't seen it yet, but I do know that it has gay stuff in it.
There's gay stuff in it, and this we're saying it like it's a bad thing.
No, of course not.
It has LGBT subject matter in it.
From a worldwide business perspective, it is a risky move still, somehow.
It's a risky move in certain places of more conservative livelihoods. Said, you can show the movie if you cut X, Y, and Z out. And
yeah, it's been a joke for years that all these Marvel and Disney films, that they'll have like a gay scene that can easily be cut for foreign countries. Like,
yeah, I think like the Rise of Skywalker had
that's exactly the moment I'm thinking
kiss. Yeah. So easy to just zip out.
Or there's the guy in like Captain America's support group who talks about going on a date with a guy. It's like, you can cut that for China, it's fine. But I understand it's a bit more ingrained into the film and internals. Like, you can't just cut it.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean.
Anyway, that's good. And I'll give Marvel and Disney credit for that. Anyway, Shang-Chi was pretty good. I don't know if you want to talk spoilers or not. I think we can probably pass on actually talking about spoilers.
I love Trevor Slattery.
Oh, I guess we're doing spoilers.
He got his own poster.
Did he? I missed that. I didn't know he was in the film, actually. I managed to avoid that.
He was. Oh, had you completely not seen that?
No, I knew that Captain...
What was your reaction?
I knew that Captain Marvel showed up in it, because that got spoiled for me. But...
Yeah. Bruce Banner.
I didn't... I only knew... I saw that Captain Marvel showed up. I was like, nope, I'm avoiding this article now.
What did you think of Trevor, though? Because me and you, and for years, have spoken about Trevor Slattery and his iconic nature of Iron Man 3.
It was lovely to see him again. He's being more Trevor than ever before.
More Trevor. I can't believe he came. I guess he was connected to the Mandarin and stuff, but it's just like, what a bit of fan service.
And he's hugging this weird six-legged faceless fur thing the whole time.
Morris. A lot of people on there are talking about Morris supremacy now.
It was pretty fun. It was good to see him.
Right, so I have nothing to say outside Trevor Slattery shows up. There was a cool flying dragon. I don't care about the baddies.
I loved the action in this movie, and like I said this after I watched Hawkeye, which just came out. I think it's ruined a lot of Marvel action for me now, because those like long takes of all this cool martial arts stuff, especially that initial scene on the bus, was just so friggin' cool, and it's just ruined Marvel action scenes for me a little bit now.
Yeah, I give TV a pass because it's TV.
It's Marvel TV, so it's high budget stuff, but still, it's of a lower standard. I think it's fair to say.
I'm just like thinking, Hawkeye is the first MCU Disney Plus show that I believe looks very akin to a Netflix show.
Is that just because it's street level and set in New York? It's the very similar setup.
Because I think the stuff with Jeremy Renner less so. Or anything, even if Kate Bishop's there, but anything that's just Haley Steinfeld, I'm like, this is. I could see Jessica Jones walking through this scene. I could see Luke Cage walking through this scene. I could see Iron Fist or Daredevil or.
Well, there's been all sorts
Kingpin.
of rumors about that, but.
Let's not talk about the rumours of who's showing up on this show. I know them all. I've seen the things. I've heard things. Some things have been verified. Some things haven't. I'm looking forward to where the show will go. I like it, but I'm also not completely sold on it going to be a home run at the moment. I think they were a bit misleading with their marketing and inference of what the show was going to be, because it's the Kate. I actually think Haley Steinfeld is very good in this show, and this is clearly going to be the Kate Bishop Hawkeye show and not the Jeremy Renner Hawkeye show or Clint Barton Hawkeye show. But prior to the show coming out, that's definitely not what this show was supposed to be sold as. Like this, the point of the Disney Plus shows to this point was like characters that pre-existed in the films that couldn't get their own movies finally getting their own series, and that was true for all the rest of them.
They are doing fairly equal billing, at least what I've seen so far.
From the first 2 episodes, I think there's a clear protagonist and there's a clear supporting character.
We'll see. Let's talk more about Hawkeye when it's actually done.
Fair enough, Kyle.
Oh, okay. What if? What a weird show. What a weird show that was.
A delightfully weird show.
It was. I mean, it was depressingly weird sometimes, which I made a video about. Plug away. But it's definitely, it felt like the least relevant of all the shows they've done so far.
Yes. I agree to, like, I'm trying to think of how to put it into words. I have a lot of thoughts about what if. To me, it feels like it's trying to do a lot of audience prep work for Doctor Strange and Spider-Man.
Maybe a bit, but I don't think this is going to be nearly as popular as those films.
Probably not. But I also think that maybe Marvel were a little bit underwhelmed with that. I think Marvel thought they really had a home run on their hands with it. With this, and the fact that I think to the best of my knowledge, it barely trended, is telling.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
trending on Twitter, whether people like it or not, especially if it trends in the US, is a big deal.
I don't think it was unpopular. but it didn't reach the heights of the actual live-action TV shows.
These companies don't pay for fancy hashtags for no reason.
Yes.
You know?
And they had all the fancy hashtags for, like, every character they introduced.
Yes, exactly. There was a couple of infamously cut episodes. There was supposed to be an episode with Iron Man and Gamora on Sakaar, and despite them bringing in Multiverse Gamora for the finale, she didn't actually get her own episode. Apparently all that was COVID related. I think some of those episodes though are being ported to season 2, which is going to be weird because it's going to be out of sequence.
It's not as if, like, sequence really matters to this show. It's an anthology series, but...
Yeah, but it all built up to a big crossover event. It's anthology until it isn't.
Yeah, it was very weird that they didn't just cut Gamora from that episode, because it's not like she's that relevant to the plot of the finale. You could have just taken her out and nothing would really change.
Yeah, I know. What did you think of the last final role of Chadwick Boseman?
It was ups and downs. It was very distracting how often he talks, like, meaningfully about death in all these episodes. It's like... It's like he has a sequence in the zombie episode where he has like a little speech with Peter Parker, and it's like, this is far too relevant. This is creepy.
I wonder how much people knew about Chadwick's real life condition. He pulled a real Freddie Mercury, that guy, going right up to the last moment.
I mean, it's a shame because he was really good in it. He was actually, I think, one of the best performances in the show.
He was really good in it.
Because there was some actors who were totally phoning it in, like
Sebastian
Stan, awful voice actor, just terrible,
horrific. Never voiced animated in his life, you may think.
But he was doing really good. I really liked that episode he was in. I know that some people have issues with it because it's basically the fuck Peter Quill episode, but I didn't mind it.
I mean, I'm all about fuck Peter Quill, to be honest with you. I don't like the character. You know, who cares? I much prefer the T'Challa Star-Lord. If we still had Chadwick Boseman with us, I would much rather kick Peter Quill out and bring in a different Star-Lord T'Challa from the multiverse whilst keeping him as Black Panther, and we just have two different, like... Chadwick Boseman plays two entirely different characters in the MCU, and just no one mentions it. And they meet up at one point, and it's really weird, and they need to do like a screen split.
I definitely liked the show more than I thought. I think because, like, the first episode really had me worried. Like, it wasn't terrible, but it was thoroughly mediocre. Like the Captain Carter episodes.
Yeah. See, I remember prior to the show coming out, you weren't looking forward to it at all.
No.
And I think episode 1 vindicated you at first.
Yes, because episode 1 it's exactly just a retelling of Captain America 1, but they've flipped the roles.
They've changed the character. If that was all the show was, I think you would have been right. I knew the show wasn't just going to be that. I know the first episode done it. I think that was to, get Joe Normie in on it, into the water slowly.
I think that was a bad idea, though, because I honestly think that first episode being like that is what made the show less popular, because a lot of people watched that episode and they thought, oh, is this just what the show is? And they just gave up.
I think the reason the show wasn't popular was because it was animated. The Clone Wars really struggled with trending as well, but The Mandalorian didn't. People don't like it. Like people love Spider-Man. Not a lot of people are so into the Spider-Verse. Things just struggle. When it's animated, as much as we may see animation as being a greater and in some way superior art form at times.
Well, they definitely use animation to its full capacity in this show.
Yes, they do, definitely. Like, they couldn't have done some of this stuff in live action. I actually think Captain Carter done some shit that Captain America simply has never done in the films, primarily because the animated format just allows her to feel a lot more weighted.
Yes. And obviously when they get into, like, the Dragon Ball Z fight in the second last episode, you couldn't do that in live action either.
Exactly. I like the Vision looking after a zombie Scarlet Witch.
You know how I feel about zombies. If anyone doesn't know,
you're terrified.
I have an irrational fear of zombies. So
you would say entirely rational.
I mean, it's not rational because zombies aren't real, right? So, like,
stairs in Star Wars Celebration.
Is there zombies at Star Wars Celebration?
every single person that pays a ticket.
Oh wow.
Pays the price for
Oh,
admission.
we're all
Wow,
just sheep.
wow.
Oh, that's very deep of you, Nathan.
I'm surprised that you didn't get it immediately. That's the entire
It's
point.
consumerism that's the real issue.
Yeah. And further on consumerism, we're now getting a whole Marvel Zombies show.
Oh, God. Oh, I don't want it.
It's gonna be canon, Kyle. We're gonna need it.
It's weird too because that zombie episode. What would you say the most popular episode was? Looking back, I feel like it's maybe the zombie one, just because that people like them zombies.
I think it might be the episode 2 with the T'Challa Star-Lord.
It's either one of those probably.
That Thanos is, just a guy on the crew. He get turned to good, and people ha 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 about his genocide plans.
That was I had 2 major laugh out loud moments, and that was one of them. Is when Thanos just pops up behind and is like, "What do you mean? I'm right." It's like, he didn't defeat me. And that's
what was the other one?
Oh gosh, what was the other one now? Oh no, I've forgotten. I think it was in the Party Thor episode at some point. But I can't remember exactly when. Because the Party Thor episode was the full This Is a Comedy episodes.
I actually think that was one of the weakest episodes.
It was, but I definitely remember having a laugh out loud moment in that episode as well. I think it might have been when he fixed the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, okay. That's he's trying to go around and repair everything like in Ferris Bueller's Day Off fashion.
And it's like a quick 2-second part as part of the montage. He fixes the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and it's like, that was funny. I enjoyed that. That was like a moment of levity, because a lot of these episodes are really, really dark, which is fun, but also like multiple of these episodes end in an actual apocalypse.
Yeah. I often found that's how some of the episodes ended in like a cliffhanger that never got resolved interesting.
Well, it's weird because I didn't mind that, because it's a sort of like, life goes on for these stories, whatever, like...
Yeah.
But then in the last episode, they actually, tried to resolve all of those at once. Like, the Star-Lord T'Challa episode ends with Eagle finding Peter Quill.
And Eagle.
And then we open the last episode, and that's already, a situation that's being resolved. And I thought that's weird. I didn't think they were going to do that.
I guess it's nice to give out all the characters the entry point from where that episode that they were in.
I suppose so.
I liked Femme Fatale Nebula in that episode with the blonde.
Yes, Femme Fatale, and they have more chemistry than he does with his actual romance in the movies.
Yeah, and she called him Cha Cha. Karen Gillan was a wonderful voice actor. I'm
assuming they're probably going to give her an actual episode of her own at some point, I would guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for her own live action show. Karen Gillan's had an amazing career after Doctor Who. She's had a bigger career than any of the post-Doctors.
It's true. It's odd because when she first, in the first Guardians film, I thought she was the weakest part by far. But that character and her performance has really grown on me over the years. Yeah,
it's really stuck around. By Endgame, she's a very good character, I think, as a whole. And we're only going to see more of her.
I don't know, we'll see what... They've got a million billion new shows planned, so we'll see where it goes.
Some some set photos were released of the Marvels.
I did see that was leaked. I didn't see the images.
There were nothing substantial, just on-set pictures of Ms. Marvel and stuff kicking about. And it's weird because she's got her own show coming out.
Yeah, and we
soon.
Still haven't seen almost anything of that show.
Yeah, and they're now in the middle of filming the Captain Marvel sequel that she features in.
Hopefully the show goes down well.
They're still doing bloody reshoots for Doctor Strange too. They're saying that there was stuff that they couldn't do because of COVID logistically, and other scenes they want to make a bit better. Now I've heard that because Sam Raimi's a horror director, because apparently Wanda's the villain.
Is that true? Okay.
Yeah, apparently Wanda's the villain of Doctor Strange too. And apparently Sam Raimi made her fucking horrifying. A bit too irredeemable. And Disney took a look at it and thought, we can't do this. She needs to be good again, she needs to be redeemed, she needs to sell toys. We have her in our theme parks. And they've done some reshoots to tone down her villainy a bit. Which I think's a shame.
I mean, I can see why it's probably a good idea, though. I was remembering because because Doctor Strange 2 is this multiverse, so I was like, do you remember the setup they left at the end of the first Doctor Strange with Mardo? What?
He's in this film.
Is he? Because I was thinking, like, how on earth are they going to incorporate that guy back into this crazy narrative they're doing?
Mr. Ejiofor?
Yes.
I wonder if... I hope they don't crossbones him and, like, dispatch him right at the start.
Oh, gosh. That would be silly. He's a good character.
He's amazing talent, and I don't really think they had a multiverse of madness planned when they cast him.
Yeah.
But he is in the film. And apparently so is What's-Her-Face coming back as the love interest. She's returning.
Oh, Mean Girls.
The Mean Girls
lady.
girl. Yeah. I know her name, but it's just escaped me. I really wonder, like, so clearly with all these returning actors, they want to make it a true Doctor Strange sequel, but how on earth are they going to fit a true Doctor Strange sequel into this, what is essentially an Avengers movie?
I know. I mean, they've managed it before, so we should really stop questioning things like this, but...
Yeah, we should stop questioning Kevin Feige's ability to weave a good yarn.
It did occur to me. Should we wrap up by talking about Spider-Man stuff? Because that's all the rage these days, is talking about Spider-Man stuff.
Let's talk about Spider-Man. If only I could get home.
Nathan, where the fuck is Tobey Maguire?
I'll tell you where he is, Kyle. He's on the Statue of Liberty that's been given a Steve Rogers Captain America shield.
A lot of love for Captain America in this current MCU. There's all...
Because he's saved them. He is their Jesus. He saved the universe. He brought half of humanity back, and essentially to everyone's public knowledge, he died in the attempt.
And they're all forgetting that other time that another Captain America brutally decapitated a guy in the middle of the street.
That Steve Rogers are worshipping, not the US agent.
I mean,
it's like, I just think giving the Statue of Liberty a shield is a bit
so tacky.
It's so tacky, yeah.
Like the Rogers musical. That's fun. I love the Rogers musical. But
that the Rogers musical is a good piece of this good telly.
But actually giving the shield to the Statue of Liberty, that's so weird.
Yeah. But, you know, we're getting it in a Spider-Man movie. And we've got Doctor Strange now as a full-on supporting character. And Tobey Maguire. And Andrew Garfield. And Tobey Maguire hasn't been said shit. Because no one asks Tobey Maguire anything. I know our shtick is where's Tobey Maguire. And I'm so happy that after that ironic question from a year and a half ago or whatever it was, we can have a sincere answer to something that we kind of meant a bit flippantly.
Uh-huh.
But my God, Andrew Garfield, God bless that man. Despite his rocky movies that at one point were almost going to be the Spider-Man that we got in the MCU.
Can you imagine?
He has handled it greatly. Like, there's, like, when they thought about, because Kevin Feige wanted Spider-Man in the MCU since about the first Avengers movie in 2012.
Of course.
It wouldn't have happened then, but he's wanted it since about then.
It's like the most popular Marvel character.
When the big Sony email leak happened, there was emails from Kevin Feige to Sony, and he was trying to help them make The Amazing Spider-Man 2 less shit. And he's telling them to tone down Paul Giamatti's Rhino. They're telling him to kind of make Spider-Man a little bit more heroic and how to structure the film and cut bits out and stuff.
Yeah.
And they basically didn't. They basically ignored him. But the reason he was helping them so much is because at the time he probably thought that this was going to be the version of Spider-Man that got incorporated into the MCU.
Right, yeah.
And I can only imagine that Andrew Garfield knew this. And he might have been thinking, I'm going to be with Iron Man. And to then have him be fired, essentially, and recast, and him still have a great love for the franchise and be an amazing brand ambassador, frankly, and then still be willing to come back as a side piece to someone else's Spider-Man, that he's just great. And do all the interviews because he has a working career and say no, and it's photoshopped and they're not real. God bless him. Nobody's asked Tobey Maguire shit because he doesn't do anything anymore.
He's an asshole.
Because he's an asshole and he hasn't done anything since a film a couple of years ago. Tobey Maguire's so rich he doesn't need to work. He shows up when he likes. You know, so frankly, I wonder how much money they paid him for Spider-Man. Because
I mean, it's still not been officially confirmed that they're in it.
he's still not officially confirmed that. But the trailer ended in a really weird sting where they're coming through I Can't Stop It from Doctor Strange, which isn't particularly triumphant. It feels very weird in the trailer. Every time I watch that trailer, the little stinger after the title card always gets me because I'm like, that is weird. Why is it just Doctor Strange saying that line? It's not funny. It's not like a zinger.
It's dramatic.
It's just... But I don't even think it's particularly dramatic because it feels like something that would have been in the midpoint of the trailer.
Well, the way they positioned this trailer, at least the way they've laid it out is, I guess if people haven't seen it, like villains from other dimensions are coming through to attack our friend Peter Parker because a spell went wrong. And the villains...
He wanted everyone to forget he was Peter Parker because of Mysterio shenanigans.
And somehow that resulted in villains from other dimensions coming to kill him. I don't really know how that works, but magic, whatever.
Portals related to other Spider-Man happened.
Yes.
And they all get caught up in it.
And so we're getting villains from the previous movies. That's the excuse for the villains from previous movies coming through.
Which I think, for fans, it's great. I think in this film, the critics might say that a lot of the villains are underserviced, because it makes no sense for this Doc Ock to be here.
It looks... They're definitely pushing Doc Ock especially. Like, it seems like a lot of the other ones, like, from what I can tell from the trailers, Green Goblin and Sandman and all that, they seem more like bit parts, whereas Dr. Octopus is more of a main character.
So, from what I've heard, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin is the main antagonist of the film. He gets the most screen time out of them all.
Okay.
And Doc Ock appears to be the primary lead in the marketing because, that's a twist. Like, there's a lot in this film the marketing hasn't given away.
Well, it's because Spider-Man 2 is the big famous one, right? So
Spider-Man 2 is the big famous one, and also Alfred Molina outright said ages ago that he was in the movie.
Yeah, so they're like, fuck it, I guess you've done this for us, mate.
Yeah, you've done this for us, fine, we'll just show you in the film. And I also think that he might get control of the arms and might end up trying to help Peter and die in the process.
It does seem like he's getting a bit of a redemption arc, as far as I can see.
Yeah, he got redeemed at the end of Spider-Man 2 as well.
True.
That's kind of why I'm like, why are you mean? You went good again. But no, apparently he's bad again.
Well, I mean, it could be that he's from actually not the Spider-Man 2 universe, just another version of that movie.
Yeah, it's possible. That is possible. But I think that because there's a shot where he's falling from something, like he's been hit by an electro blast. I think there'll be villain infighting in this movie.
Wouldn't shock me.
People think there's a hidden sixth villain that will make it the Sinister Six, and it's been recently kind of let loose by some people that there actually is only 5 villains in the film, at least working together.
Mm-hmm.
There may or may not be some other things, but it's going to be the Sinister Five, baby. And Doc Ock seems to be the one that's getting all the marketing because they want to hide a lot of stuff, And then in this trailer, there's a bit at the end where Sandman, Electro, who I think Electro looks amazing, by the way, and Lizard from the first Amazing Spider-Man is jumping at Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And in the Brazilian version of the trailer, and only in the Brazilian version of the trailer, Lizard gets kicked in the face by something, and we don't know what it is because it's been edited out, but he gets kicked and hit so hard by an invisible foot.
Only in Brazil.
But only in Brazil.
Oh, I love marketing.
And it must surely be an edited out Spider-Man, because you see Tom Holland in the full shot. And there's another bit where like Ned and MJ are standing on like a thing, like a scaffolding, and then they fall off, and it's a quick shot of Ned kind of turning around going, "Oh, what's happening?" And it looks like there's a partially but not fully completely painted out spider hand with a mask. And it's only there for like 2 frames. But people have seen it, and it's only like half an arm. It's not fully, like, it looks like they've tried to edit it out, but they've messed it up, and it's still kind of there. It's amazing. The conspiracies for this film are the... apparently there's some like infighting between Sony. Sony want to show them in the trailer, and Marvel's like, don't show them in the trailer. And Sony seem to be listening to Marvel, even though it's Sony's distribution policy.
But you think at one point Sony would realise that Marvel is right about this crap, but they never seem to twig on that.
Well, they're listening to Marvel at the moment.
Yeah, but we've talked about this personally, how they're setting up their own pocket dimension of Spider-Man stuff, just in case.
Yeah, like we got Morbius coming out, and it's... Have you heard the Morbius... Have you seen the Morbius trailer?
I have seen the Morbius trailer, yeah.
There's an Oscorp building in it, and it's the same Oscorp logo from The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yes, and also they have pictures of Tobey Maguire Spider-Man on the walls, and...
and Vulture from the MCU.
Yep.
They're really hedging their bets with what they're doing
Yep.
here. But it's also definitely set in the Venom verse, because at the end of the trailer he says, "I am Venom."
Yep. And we know for sure now that Venom is in a different universe, so...
We know for sure now that Venom is also now definitely in the MCU, so will he show up in Spider-Man, but not part of the Sinister Six? Who knows?
Oh boy. Oh boy. I guess we'll see. This movie definitely feels like one that will get a podcast treatment. I say that now, maybe it won't, but...
At least now we know where Tobey Maguire is.
At least now we know, maybe.
Or at least we think we do.
At least we think we know. What if the movie comes out and he's actually terrible in it? It's possible.
I wouldn't... it's definitely possible. I would love it if after this film comes out they keep asking them if they're in the film and they keep denying they're in the movie, like 6 months after the film's out. The film's like on DVD showing the actor of the scene, being like, "It's fake, man, I'm not in it.
It's photoshopped. It's
Photoshopped.
deep faked."